On a stormy night, a military submarine detects an unidentified craft. They try to establish contact, but no dice. They try to evade it, but the ship crashes into them, and power goes out. The hostile craft makes another run at them, flooding the ship as they call for emergency help. The ship sinks, and it turns out Aquaman is the culprit. Later on, the Justice League responds to the emergency call and dives deep below to find them. They find the Atlantean ship and start to maneuver their attacks. They run into more ships, so the team abandons ship and heads out to deal with the threat personally. They destroy the ships together with ease before running into the king. The team pleads with the king, and he allows them to rescue the crew and leave. But Green Lantern is unhappy that they're leaving the nuclear submarine behind. The team is then escorted to the surface, after being given a stern warning to never return. Superman advises Aquaman to speak to the world and avoid any issues, and it gets the Atlanteans thinking underwater. One of his generals wants to wipe out humans at any cost, but Aquaman puts him in his place before leaving. Aquaman is with his child and wife before second-guessing himself, but Mera comforts him. At the Justice League headquarters, they argue about the fact that the sub is still down there. Green Lantern goes rogue and heads back down there by himself. He checks out the area before, and at the same time, Aquaman lands on shore. He walks his way through the city and attacks a civilian car as well as a cop. Back at the Justice League, Green Lantern tells them that the submarine has been emptied. Someone stole the nuclear bombs. They watch the news as Aquaman goes to the World Assembly to make demands. Justice League arrives at the scene to talk to him, but he's madly walking away before an assassination attempt is made on him. He's rushed to the hospital, and the Atlanteans prepare for war. His general has already assumed that he's dead and is bloodthirsty for war. Meanwhile, the doctors can't pierce his skin as his physiology is different. In the face of despair, Batman arrives. Aquaman is put in a water tank, and immediately his vitals begin to stabilize. No one, other than Batman, thought of putting the Aquaman in some water, huh?
Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening.
After some time, Aquaman is back to normal, and Green Lantern begins questioning him about the sub. Aquaman ignores him, intending to find his attacker, and Batman decides to help. They cook up a plan and pretend that Aquaman is still in critical condition. The killer tries to ambush him again, but they catch him this time. He runs away and they all follow, and Superman gets electrocuted somehow. Also, it turns out that Martian Manhunter was pretending to be Aquaman. They chase him down the sewers and from above, and it appears to be Deadshot who is our killer. The resourceful killer manages to elude them again. Back at the hospital, Aquaman has had enough and knocks out Green Lantern. Meanwhile, the chase continues and Batman takes out Deadshot's bike. They chase on foot and he gets in a truck. Superman goes after him and lasers his tires out, causing him to crash. He finally catches Deadshot and he reveals that he was paid to try to kill Aquaman, but won't reveal who. Batman takes him to the side and puts the living fear into him. He doesn't know who hired him, but the money trail says that the payment came from Atlantis. Back at Atlantis, the general is preparing for war, and Aquaman interrupts. Aquaman is enraged about this, and they refuse to follow his orders, turning against him. His generals betray him, all bloodthirsty for war. He tries to fight back, but they take him out and begin preparations for war. Mera arrives at the scene, but the general lies to her and says that Aquaman hasn't returned. He wants to marry her, but this creeps her out. She finds that he's taken her son and blackmails her with him. Meanwhile, the Justice League makes their way below, but they're attacked. They head out to talk, but they are attacked again, and the fighting begins. It's business as usual for them as they take everyone out. A giant ship approaches, but Superman displays his strength and slashes it open. They head down towards the city, but get blown up by underwater mines. Why is Superman not invulnerable? They are caught and chained and ask about Aquaman, but the general keeps pretending that Aquaman never returned and accuses them of killing him. He orders their execution before revealing his intentions of wiping out the surface world. They're chained to the wall and begin to be flooded. The devices can't make them focus as all hope seems to be lost. The Atlanteans prepare for war, and Mera sneaks away to knock out the guards. She releases the tank, holding the heroes, and saves their lives. She releases all of them, and they agree to help her save Aquaman's life. He's being held near a volcano to keep him weak. The general shows Aquaman his son, intending to harm him. At the same time, the Justice League walks through the kingdom, but they are suddenly attacked. As they fight back, Green Lantern uses his ring to take them all out. Back at Aquaman, he's still being threatened, as the general intends to frame his son's death on the surface dwellers. He hangs the sun next to him and blows up the crater, sending them falling into the volcano. Aquaman is enraged and finds his strength, freeing one, before going berserker on the other. Back at Atlantis, the Justice League can't find Aquaman, but he comes walking back towards them with his son, but he cut off his hand to do so. Now he means business. They cooperate on his arm, as the Justice League is impressed by his determination. Batman calls them and tells Superman that there is a situation at the North Pole. Aquaman tells them that it's the Doomsday weapon, which will create a total nuclear meltdown and destroy the entire surface world. Aquaman lands graciously at the North Pole, and the Justice League follows him against his approval. They're suddenly attacked by Atlantean defenses as the general wages a battle against them. The fighting breaks out, and Batman arrives at the scene. The battle continues, and they take out the men, one by one. Superman infiltrates their ship, but is taken out by another weapon. Seriously, why isn't he invulnerable?
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Aquaman calls a whale to pick him up.
Tell him to bring out the lobster!
Yes, sir.
And he uses it to attack. They stay with him against their disbelief, and Aquaman comes out of the ice to enter a cave. He makes his way towards the Doomsday device inside, but is taken out by the General. He fights back as the League makes its way to the device location. The fight continues, and the General destroys the device, so it can't be shut down. As things go south, Batman heads inside while they continue fighting. Batman and Green Lantern find the device. He gets protected by the ring from radiation to head inside the bomb and disarm it manually. Aquaman continues his assault on the General as they battle it out all over the cave. He gets slashed, but the General falls off and is hanging on by one hand. Aquaman doesn't save him and leaves him to his own demise. Batman manages to shut off the bomb and stop the threat, saving the entire world. In the aftermath, Aquaman's men try to explain themselves, but they are traitors. Aquaman is disappointed in his blindness, but they all come to terms with what happened. After all, the day is saved. This was a story from the Justice League animated series. If you've enjoyed this, let us know, and we'll continue to deliver on your favorite TV series. This was the introduction of Aquaman into the Justice League, and he is way more badass in this series than any other adaptation of his. Batman also came late, but he was definitely the one who saved the day on multiple occasions. It was a little surprising to see that the humans were well aware of the existence of Atlantis, but they just chose to ignore it, as opposed to living in secret. It was also cool to see how the Atlanteans were depicted as being hostile and aggressive from the very beginning, willing to go to war with the entire planet and eradicate the surface dwellers for their own sake. Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me what you think about this story. Did you enjoy this depiction of Aquaman? What's your favorite Justice League series of all, and what more would you like to see from us? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.